Yo, 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 it's your boy Professor Pippi's back in this bitch trying to get active on these charts. What I'm looking at right here currently is the results of last week's trades. Off of AUDUSD on the 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart. Week started out pretty great. We had shorts coming from the weekly open. Last weekend analysis, we were looking for if price was going to continue above this 4-hour structure right over here. It didn't. It created a I got in pretty early, but based off the analysis, it created a resistance right over here on the 15-minute chart, also on the 1-hour chart. That price was not able to close above, and then the price action started to decrease in value, started making those lower highs. And yeah, we just got in for the shorts over there. Initially had targets way down here, but ended up trailing the stops. We got trailed out somewhere over there. So that's why it's way up there. But something like this, based off 1 hour level. Wait, no, maybe not. Targets was right there. Maybe that is what the part for that. But overall, from the higher time frame, price action was bearish. So that was the idea going into the weekly open. Higher time frames are bearish, looking for evidence of areas in the market to where we potentially take some shorts from. We had this area right up here identified as the daily high, created a daily low, the price action broke through that level. We bring the analysis back. You can see evidence of that. This was the low that we had identified from the daily time frame we broke through from 2 weeks ago. Well, no, this last week's price action. Yeah, we broke through. So last week's price action, we took that initial short through that level. We broke through that daily level. So that's why it had been deleted. Originally, probably would look something like this. So we would identify the zone from the daily time frame. Then we had continuation sales below that level. So as price action closed below that level here, that was the cause of deleting that level. So then looking left, the level was too far. Looking left as far as time and price action. To say which levels would necessarily be respected once price action started going into forward time. So we just marked it up from the forage and then got active from there. So then when you come out to the 1 hour, you can kind of see more structural basis of where we started to identify trade ideas. So on the 4 hour, we had a high, created a low, took shorts over there. I knew from following AU throughout the Asian session that when we created this 4 hour low, price action probably wasn't going to break through during the Asian session. So that's why I took shorts to retest the NY low here. You see them on a 15-minute, you zoom in. Took shorts to retest, scalp shorts to retest the NY low here, and then ultimately took the buys back into 1 hour resistance. That was right up there. So caught buys here, caught buys here. Once price action wasn't able to break above structure here, took shorts right over here. And towards the end of the week, what happened over here? Yeah, took some shorts right over here. I think I got trailed out. Yeah. Once price action broke below, or what happened? I can't remember. This is on the live. This was the live trade right here. I did this sometime Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember how I got trailed out on this though. It ended up hitting or going in the direction I wanted to go in, but I did something with the stops. I ended up moving stops early and then getting trailed out before price action went where I wanted it to go. And then I think I took another, I tried to short it again from over here, not realizing that this was the retracement I needed to see during the Asian session. That was the move I was looking for to push price higher, to retest these highs. But when I came to the charts during the New York session, price action was like somewhere right up in here. And it looked like it potentially was just retesting the highs to go lower. I think I took a short like somewhere right over here, stops right above me, I stopped out. But if I would have refreshed my analysis that I had while I was trading off of, I would have saw this is simply a retest, push price higher, and could have had those buys. But ultimately, this video more or less was to just go back through trade ideas, chart analysis, and see where price went versus where I thought price was going and how I got my trade setup idea analysis going. But on AU, mostly all these trades have already been broken down. Like I said, I did a good bit of these on the live last week, and yeah, I went through a good bit of it. So just wanted to restart on that one. Bitcoin currently in some shorts right now. Took a loan from right over here. Was looking to see how far Bitcoin was going to break, or how far Bitcoin was going to drop after breaking through this 4-hour support right here. And what I saw was price action came all the way back down, grabbed these level stop outs right here. I wouldn't necessarily call it stop hunt, but stopped all these buyers out who got into the market. Price went up, and then I saw it shift on the 1 hour. Let me zoom in a little bit. What I saw was price action making lower lows, lower highs. Wasn't really chasing the shorts, wasn't really chasing the buys. What I saw was price action dip down. And when I came to the charts, price action was up here. So I identified this level here. Wanted to see how price action reacted once it got here. I allowed it to come down here, and it wasn't able to break this level. And I hit buys 15 minutes, executed on some buys as price action started to break highs right over here. This trade, I think, is also broke down on the other videos. So what pretty much you can see how price action shifted the structure. And I was looking at it originally only from the 1 hour because I knew it was already bearish. I wasn't looking for it to continue bearish. I was expecting it to go bearish down into the zone here, but it didn't. Like I said, once I saw the structure shift on the 1 hour, I was like, okay, this is what I'm now about to look for and see if I can get a trade set up based off of it. Just reading it structurally, what I did notice is we broke the structure on a 4 hour right here. We came back to retest this level. So I wanted to take a trade from down here. Initially, if it was just a retracement to retest this high, then that's what it would have been. But as you can see, it continued. When I originally had the trade analysis, I had targets right up to here. And then I trailed the stops somewhere to like right under here. And I got trailed out from this move, and I did not catch the rest of that. So yeah, that's what that one ended at. So what I saw here was price action, like I said, pushing high highs and high lows. Price action starting to come down. This is on the 1 hour chart, making a low, lower high, lower low. So potentially, if this is the next lower high, potentially catch it down to this level of support here. Looking at initial, probably take target somewhere right up in this area. Looking at, if I had to put a number to it, 28.20. And then if it continues on down, and yeah, we'll get active the same way they got active, turn reversals back from over on this side. So that's Bitcoin, UJ. From a broad term perspective, I knew ultimately it was bullish. What I was looking for was to see how price action broke out of this channel I had outlined here. Missed the shorts as price retested the top side of this channel here. This was just a trade idea that I threw out there based off the way I would have traded if I was just trading based off of structures and not this this channel here. So based off of the structures down here, we got the daily low, daily structural high. Price action has retested that structural high multiple times. Price action finally broke above that structural high and retested, and then also created a new high. So then you have price action come back and break below that structure area, basically kind of giving it a retest. Based off of the channel, we got to push into the top side of the channel and retest on the midline of the channel. But if I would have traded if I would have traded UJ last week just based off of structures, then what I would have realized was price action ultimately is bullish. We created a new higher high. We're now ultimately on the higher time frames, looking for the new higher low that's going to push price higher, and that's what you got right here. Based off of the way I analyze my structures, bullish continuation zones are break and retest zones. So if price action would have simply, let me zoom in just a little bit so we can see some of the candle work. As price action would have broke above and came back and retest, I initially potentially would have been looking for a setup right here, but since it didn't actually tap into that zone, I probably would have waited a little bit longer simply because if when I'm watching trades and they don't tap all the way into my zone, in the back of my mind, I'm expecting this right here to happen. As you can see, if you take a sell right here, if you got in way down here, typically stop's probably going to be right up there. So you potentially got stopped out, trailed out, and then price action went into your direction. So this is actually a tap into the zone that I wanted to see price action react from. And as you can see, it came down and closed. So at this time, if I'm expecting price action to go bullish, this is a tricky point. You'd have to sit and actually just wait for price action to resume going back bullish in order to take buys. Once we close above the bullish continuation zone, the break, here's the break above, come back to retest. Yet again, it's tricky right here because we didn't tap fully into the zone and price action just took off. So overall, I could have had some shorts here on GJ or UJ. I also could have had some longs, but I don't trade UJ during the Asian. So yeah, most of this price action is probably gonna get active. Let me see. This started during the Asian, yeah, and continued throughout the London, then chopped around during the London, and then we go back. Yeah, it started to consolidate during the New York session, and then it started to retrace during the New York session. So ultimately, on UJ going into this week, definitely going some type of retracement to see if price action is going to continue higher. Looking at GJ, I did catch a pretty nice long on GJ last week. Only traded GJ once. Last week, I did not catch this trade. What I saw was GJ was bullish. Based off the higher time frames, I think it was, let me see. Yep, it was bullish. Bullish off the higher time frames. And what we had was price action created resistance on the 1 hour chart and created support on the 1 hour chart. And what I saw was price action was doing this number right here, come into the Asian session. I identified that price action was not able to break through these lows. Normally, with these tight lows right here, these equal lows right over here, price action usually breaks right through there and then comes back to retest. But what I saw was price action stall out right there. Then we go down on the 15-minute. What I had was if price action continued throughout the Asian session to break these lows, then, you know, essentially get trailed out right down there, but it didn't. And yeah, so once price action resumed back bullish, I think I took this on 5-minute because I saw the structure shift on 5-minute. We came down, we closed above right here, we pulled back. I got in once I saw it close above. It pulled back a little bit. I was okay because I had stops right below this level. And then, yeah, it just shot up. As soon as price action broke this high, stops were trailed to here. And then, you know, risk reward don't look so awful. And then I also added positions on this trade as it ultimately was targeting the 4-hour high. Looking left. That's not it. Yep, this high right over here. Price action was bullish. This was ultimately the target simply because price action bearish, 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 bearish. Trend shifted right up in here. Started going bullish, pull back, ultimately respecting supports. We a new high, ultimately respecting supports. Going up to C. I knew if we broke this high, then the only high left to retest was this one right here. Right over here, this was kind of the indicator that, you know, we came up to retest this high, didn't necessarily have enough gas, pull back, and then just whoop-de-doop right on through that bit, and then came on back down. I knew once we grabbed this high, though, I thought we was going to come back immediately, but it had enough gas in the market to go up to retest that high. So, yeah, GJ was a good one trader last week. GU got funky on me. I was expecting from the market open, it was ultimately bearish, but what I needed to see was price action pull back a little bit deeper before believing that the price action was going to continue going bearish. Ultimately, if you trade GU daily and saw price action not able to break highs, price action would have started here last week's weekly open. So seeing price action not being able to break these would have been the first initial highs I would look for. Yeah, he potentially could have caught some shorts right up in here. Open this up, let's see. So we got last week's price action. Price created a high, came down, created a low, potential lower high, new lows, price shifted the structure, gave you a new high, came down, kind of shifted this, broke through this bullish little trend you had down on the 1 hour time frame and created a low. Came back, was not able to break these highs. So as price action started to break lows right over here, potentially this could have been your indicator that price wanted to go bearish. You got a resistance right over here. Price action pulled back, broke through that resistance. So any of these slight pullback levels right here down on the 15-minute definitely could have got active on some shorts. This is that first level. Price action came down, tried to break through. The pullback wasn't that great, and then it finally broke through that level. So this price action potentially now is turning bearish. So any slight retracement you can catch, potentially short here, down to retest into those are daily lows. Yeah. But ultimately, I needed to see it pull back to this 50% area here, and then break off. So once I didn't see it do that, then I kind of was like, it is what it is. Nothing on gold. And then NZD, USD, last week's weekly open was what? I didn't mark this up to yeah. Let's see the weekly opening here. Break continuation, continuation sales below this zone. So price action broke, took a long time to come back, but as you can see, continuation sales there. I don't trade NU, so yeah, that would have been a long time to sit and wait on this trade to break through that zone, come back and retest that zone. Yeah, this would have been funky to trade. So ultimately, I just compare NU with AU, and as you can see, this is a 15-minute chart. Click on AU. They pretty much move together. I pretty much identified that NU likes to move first, and then AU likes to follow. But overall, bearish. Currently bullish on the lower time frames. Flip back over to NU. Bearish. Currently bullish on the lower time frames. So I just look back and forth on those two to compare and contrast and see how I think each one is going to get active. But overall, pretty good week last week, identifying structures, identifying levels where potentially can take shorts or potentially take trades from. The longer I stay in this game, the important saying of patience pays off, because the longer I wait for the setups to come to me, the more profitable I am, and the more I'm able to see where price action wants to go and how it's going to get there. So if you're watching this, if you try to learn how to trade, yeah, definitely wait and learn. Don't be so eager to jump in immediately. That's been one of the biggest things I've had to overcome, was not want to be the first person in the market. Because me, I see a setup and I think it's going to go from right where it's at right now. Let's go. When actually it needs a little bit more retracement. You know what I'm saying? So like this trade right over here, this is the push. This is the excellent entry, immediate take profits. Yeah, let the market show you where it wants to go. Get some kind of pullback, and then easy trade versus that push pullback type action that cause you to flip up your trades. Because yeah, I've done a lot of that. But ultimately, entering from the Asian session has its benefits. It also has its flaws. Sometimes you can catch the beginning of a move, and then sometimes you catch the end of it or the reversing part of the move. And then sometimes you don't catch nothing and you just get all flip-flopped. But the more you watch a certain pair and stick with that same one pair, you identify what it likes to do often, and identify, like, I know on the 1 hour chart, price action just broke bullish for AU, and like that thing, so you can see something in the background. We got a high, a low, high. We just broke through bear structure on the 1 hour and on the 4 hour chart. So what we need to see at this point, if price action retraces, does it start breaking through these structural levels here and ultimately come down here and get busy back to the downside, or does price action close above here first and then start retesting levels looking left and continue this bullish uptrend. So when I come back and analyze this, first thing I want to do is go butt naked. How about to the higher time frames? It is the middle of the month, so won't necessarily need the monthly time frame based off the weekly. We just broke through a structural level looking left. We're still currently bearish. Last week's last week's candle close. I would consider this a rejection candle to the downside, and ultimately, knowing what we know coming from the 1 hour chart, price action closing above 1 hour structures and 4 hour structures, we could pop bullish, popping back out to the weekly. You kind of start to build that picture of what is price action going to do. We're rejecting on the weekly. On a 1 hour and 4 hour, we already know from last week's price action, we shifting bullish. So as we continue to go down time frame by time frame, continue to build that story, continue to build that evidence. As we can see right up over here, we have got several equal highs. So tons of liquidity has been built as price action has done this choppy move to the downside. And what have I constantly pointed out about AU? When it goes bearish, it goes bearish. It don't pump fake to the downside. When it goes bullish, it gives you this choppy price action like you got here. As you can see here, here, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. When it's bearish, it's just more of a drop. So I don't necessarily trust this price action to say this is going to continue to deal bearish. I do think we might, with some type of news, potentially see price action push up to grab all of the stops and orders behind these levels here. I guess you can identify and say, and then potentially, target this high right over here, or it might just drop back, resume back bearish. But overall, we have evidence from the weekly that we think this candle is rejecting just based off the way it looks. Closing below structure. The tail end is bigger than the candle body. So, in my category, the way I identify structure in charts, that candle has been classified as a rejection candle at this point. We have identified the equal highs. So at this point, if we're going to mark this up, structural level, daily low, right down here. And also structural level, daily high, right up here. And then, yeah, that's what it'll be. Trend ultimately is bearish on the higher time frames. When we bump down to that hourly, or the 4 hourly, we got is a high with a low, potential lower high area, new low closing above. This is ugly right here, but we currently can see this price action here is bullish, making high highs and high lows. So what we kind of need to identify here is the last bullish point where price was before price action went bearish and created this low. Yeah, I don't like where this structure is built. Let's see something. So I like the structure better on the 1 hour than I do on the 4 hour. A little bit easier to identify the levels. Man, stop playing, man. This is supposed to be a recap video. Now I'm marking up structure. Yeah, pretty much about to end this video shortly. The next video is going to be the weekly outlook. So, but overall, daily high, daily low, 4 hour level here, push price action to the lows, and now we're pushing back into those highs. So we had like a 50-50 point ultimately price action is bullish. So it would be best to wait and see what price action is going to do versus just jumping in and guessing. But yeah, like I said, kind of accomplished everything I wanted to do with this video. Running back through trades from last week and seeing where price action was, where it went, how it got there, and how it potentially got active. Waiting to see how this Bitcoin plays out. Yeah. Now we're playing with money. If we break and close above this area right here, it's a wrap on these shorts. What I'm going to do, what I'm looking for anyways, go ahead and triple and stop. Because ultimately, price action is bullish. And at this point, if you start closing back above here, it's going back bullish. Simply because high, low, lower high, lower low. You know what I'm saying? I'll make it retest that high, and that's what stops at. So if price action retest that high, that means it's going to retest your stop. So that means you should probably be out that trade, that bottom player. So yeah, we're into that. We looking for a straight drop. And if straight drop don't happen, then that'd be what it is. But that's all I got for this one. Coming back here shortly with the weekend analysis, kind of mark up and look where I think price action is going. Overall, this Bitcoin is bullish, big bullish. Oh, yeah. Ultimately, I was looking for to retest this high way up here. Which and where from price came from, which I do think is still going to do because we are bullish until price action proves we're bearish, and right now we're bullish. We got a chart right here. Let me see. I would need to see price action close below. Ooh. We'd have to start closing way back below here for me to start seeing price action bearish or resuming bearish. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. I'm looking for this trade to take off right here, and I'm gonna go from there on Bitcoin. I'll let you boy like and subscribe. Yeah, I'm out of there. Wait, oh, we still in 8. I'm out of there. Yeah.